Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul Michael. In today's video, we are working on the gate sliding rails, this time on Challenge to Build. I have my help today. My daughter Abigail's helping me out in the garage. So we got this rail set up to cut out. The wheel spacing is approximately every 48 inches. There is a total of 6 rollers that we're going to put on. So another change that I made in the design process is rather than taking the skateboard apart and using skateboard wheels, I went to Home Depot and I bought 2-inch casters that I still have to grind down, but they are rated at 125 pounds a piece. And rather than taking a skateboard apart and doing the same process, I figured go buy specific rollers for it and use them. I got my daughter taking them apart for me. Master mechanic Abigail doing her thing. So now what I'm doing is I am taking our 2-inch roller wheel that we are going to use, and I have to shave it down to fit inside of the channel. And what I found the easiest way to do with the tools that I have is you put a bolt through the center of the wheel, put the wheel on the drill, put some gloves on, and then I take my angle grinder with a 40 grit flap disc and shave down the wheel. Probably takes 30 to 45 seconds a wheel. Definitely want to wear a safety shield when you do this because a lot of rubber and a lot of urethane flies up. Now that the wheels are all trimmed down, it's time to drill some holes in the rail. So I'm going to drill the holes. What I'm doing is I'm actually drilling an oversized hole on the one side, and then rather than using a nut on the back side, I'm actually drilling a 7/32 hole for a 1/4-20 tap, and I'm tapping the back side of the steel. I'm using 1/4-20 machine screws with the tapered head on them, and then grinding the back of the bolt off flush so that way the rail can slide on the track. laid a little tiny piece of template track to see if the roller was in a good position, so that way I can move it up or down if I had to. And you just want the roller just barely enough on the upper side, so that way it rolls just like that. Alright everybody, so we are on a new day. We are going to pick right back up where we left off yesterday after mounting the rollers in the slide rails. The last little bit of fabrication I have on the rails themselves is going to be drilling the holes in the brackets that mount to the fence posts. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of how I went about doing that, and then we'll get involved in mounting the rails to the fence posts themselves. So here are the tools required to drill the holes. You might be thinking to yourself, why the heck do I need such a large drill bit? And the reason being is I need to drill like a pass-through hole on the angle bracket so I can get the socket through, so I can use a lag bolt to attach it to the fence. So what I ended up doing was center line down the bracket, an inch down from the top, inch up from the bottom, draw my lines, center punch them, center punch, and then I'm going to come in with my pilot bit, drill my pilot bit, and then finally open the holes up to the proper size, which I am using a 3/8 lag bolt, so this is a 3/8 drill bit. And then once I get these holes drilled, I'll flip it around and I'll show you exactly why I'm using the monster bit. So that's what we're going to do right now. So now we have to just repeat the same process on the other two brackets, and then we will get involved in mounting the rail to the fence and actually find out if this is going to work or not. So I hope you enjoyed the montage of the gate. It does work, but I can say that it didn't come easy. One thing I am still learning how to work through is the ability to film and do the work that I need to do to successfully complete the job. That is definitely one of the biggest challenges that I face in doing the work that I like to do, is trying to video how to do it. The gate does work. It does roll relatively easy. I did have to make a few changes in the build. The most significant change that I had to make was I removed the rollers in the bottom rail, because what I was finding was, as I was rolling it back and forth, the rails would bind up and create pressure in the fence. So I removed the rollers in the bottom rail, and now the bottom rail specifically acts as just a guide for the opening and closing of the fence. There's a lot more play in the bottom of it, so it's more or less just a guide. What my plan is going to be taking the wheels from the bottom track and installing the double amount of rollers in the top track. So in between the rollers that I have on the top track, I'm going to install more rollers on the top. I found through trial and error of installing the fence, as long as the rollers on the top support the weight, it tends to roll a lot easier. Another thing that you may have noticed was I did install a wheel on the lower right hand corner of the gate, and that was simply just an 8-inch run flat pneumatic, or actually it wouldn't be pneumatic, but it's an 8-inch run flat tire, and all I did was weld in a 5/8 bolt on the bottom corner, and then installed a nut, and she rolls pretty nice. Another major change that I found was, and this is actually a big one, but the cutout that I did in the sliding rail, when I initially cut it out, I cut it out of the center. Building this again, I would just cut out the whole bottom chunk of the fence, so that way it clears the fence bracket a lot better. As I'm rolling it back and forth, I can hear the fence binding up on this bracket, so I have to go ahead and cut out this rail a little bit more, so that way it doesn't interfere with the sliding of the fence. But overall, I'm very satisfied with the gate and the sliding of it. I definitely would build it again like this, but knowing the changes that I would have to make would make it that much easier to build second time around. So I'm going to go ahead and push this open. So relatively easy. And it starts to bind up right there, and I think that's the metal. It's hard to see because it's getting dark out, but it's the metal binding up right on this bracket. So I took a walk back into the garage, and what I was trying to explain out on the gate was, initially when I cut these rails, I only cut out the center for clearance for the 1/4-inch angle bracket that holds the rail. In the next time, if there is a next time that I have to build a gate quite like this, I would cut this entire bottom section of the tube out, so that way there's no interference and it creates more clearance for the rollers and the bracket that is supposed to slide in this tube. That about wraps up the fence project. The next time that you guys see the gate, it will be painted and have the wood boards attached on it. If you want to see the entire build process of it, click this link right here. If you've enjoyed this content and want to see more videos like it, click this icon and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. My name is Paul Michael. Remember, as always, challenge to build. I will see you in the next video.